What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday and welcome to Thursday's Thoughts. Hope everyone is doing well out there on this Thursday evening.
Hello, beautiful people.
So what are we going to be talking about today?
All right, so I have a question, and it's in relation to Mind of a Woman, because it's coming up Sunday. I need all y'all to be there. So to get the conversation rolling, how do men and women communicate differently?
Good question. Good question. So if the question was asked, do men and women communicate differently? Absolutely, I would say yes. And how do they communicate differently? I'm going to say that men are more direct in their communication. They are also very assertive in their communication because men typically communicate to get things done. And I don't want to generalize here, but where women, on the other hand, are more communicate more for emotion and also to build a connection with individuals. I also say that men are more direct in their communication as well because, direct to the path and very short, and they might tune out for something on your thing, where women, on the other hand, are more empathetic and feeling and bringing in whenever they communicate. What do you say?
I think it's funny because one of the things you get on me about is being too direct.
That's why I said I didn't want to generalize.
I know, you definitely did not generalize, but I think you're right. I do think, generally speaking, that women do communicate more from like an emotional place. But I think it's a lot to do with processing. Like, I feel like, and again, generally speaking, I feel like men are simpler in their thing. Like, I've had so many men tell me, give me 3 bullet points. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. Or they'll tell me, I'm not reading that. Or I'm not, I don't read it. So I feel like if I am getting a point across to a man, I need to make sure it is very simplistic and it is very clear as to what the point and the important points are. Whereas with women, I can have a deeper conversation. But I have some men in my life, you being one of them, that I can have very deep and emotion-filled conversations with. So I don't know. I think sometimes it's more the individual than it is maybe gender, as far as I know there's generalizations, but I think I'm learning it's more individual than it is, and we just have to take time to get to know the individual.
I agree, and that's one of the reasons that I said about men being more direct and just, they may zone out or just here because they want those bullet points because they're doing it to get whatever it is done because they got to move on to the next task. And like I said, not a generalization at all, but just, speaking from experiences that we have as individuals.
But there definitely are differences in the way they do communicate, which is why I think there's issues sometimes in the communication because somebody's missing something or zoned out. Or I had a woman tell me today that sometimes she just kind of lives in her head. Yeah. And you don't really hear a lot of men saying that. So the man might say, I zone out, where the woman might oh, I was here. I heard, but not really listening. So I don't know. Yeah. It's really, I think it's an interesting conversation to have.
Got you. And you often hear so much about, love languages and understanding another person's love languages, but you don't hear much about understanding somebody else's communication style.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's such a good point.
I think that's very important, and that's why it goes hand in hand in a relationship, because in order to be able to get, not essentially to get to love, but in order to be able to holistically have a deep relationship, you need to be able to communicate, for one, right? Communicate, trust, respect, right? But you need to be able to communicate, and you also need to be able to understand that person's love language. So it goes hand in hand.
And I've heard other people talk about it being not a love language, but a fight language. And I don't really like the term because we shouldn't be fighting, but I know what they're coming from. And that is, you have your people who, when an incident occurs, they need to talk about it right away. Right. And then you have your people who, I need some time to process it. And unfortunately, in most relationships, you have one of each, right? So it'd be wonderful if you matched, but most of the time you don't. So you have to be able to communicate with your partner to let them know, I need some time to process this. But the important point is, I will be back tonight after dinner. Can we revisit this? So that way your partner's not left hanging. Right. And, I need to do this now. So the fight language as well as the love language, those are both things that need to be communicated when things are nice and calm, so that way we can have a clear idea of, oh, this is how this person functions when things are not as calm. So
gotcha.
This is a little longer than normal, y'all, but I think it was important to bear with us.
Very deep. And please, men, women, get your tickets for the Mind of a Woman event that's coming up this week. and on Sunday in Harrisburg. We look to see you there, as well as we would love to hear what you all think about this topic.
Hey, and we created this safe space on Sunday for everyone, but especially with men in mind, because we wanted the men to be able to come and dig deep into the minds of the women that are going to be on the panel, so that you have that clear way of saying, okay, I've been wondering about this and I can never get a clear answer. Come and get your clear answer. So dudes, I need y'all to show up.
Absolutely.
Bye, y'all.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.